Well, hello again, and welcome to a summer's worth of news from Stop Hinkley and about Stop Hinkley's efforts and things happening at Hinkley C and other things in the wider nuclear world. Looking back, the one of the things that happened in middle of July was that workers at Hinkley C went on a Wildcat Strike uh, about alleged bullying um, by a senior manager of a young woman on the mechanical, electrical, and heating and ventilation team. He's not very good, but of course they've subsequently gone back to work. So hopefully that's been well resolved. Um, the dome for Unit 2 of the Hinkley C reactors, the second reactor, was successfully lifted. And despite the fact it's 18 months later than it should have been, and 6 months later than it should have been, EDF hailed that, of course, as a triumph. Its local magazine has something about better, faster, safer, which is hugely ironic because one of the points that we'll come to is that with regards safety, EDF is now in the process of facing two court actions on health and safety matters, one involving a tragic fatality, the other a serious injury, which are actually coming to court. The one of those in October to Bristol. Um, we've now got an idea where a lot of the so-called facts that pro-nuclear um, supporters are basing their information on. Jacob Rees-Mogg made a sterling contribution to a recent Any Questions, and it's apparent he got the information he used there from an organization called Britain Remade, which claims to be about renewables, but mostly appears to be pro-nuclear and particularly pro-small modular reactors. And they put out lots of stuff about how those are going to be the best thing since sliced bread. And why is it that we can't build nuclear reactors in the UK cheaper and faster than places like South Korea? The data for which is all highly questionable. Sadly, the Sizewell C reactors in Suffolk, which are, of course, the same design as Hinkley C, got the go ahead from the government, which has taken a whopping 40+% share of the cost of build and will result in additional bills for every household in the country. Thanks to that, that's all coming up. And EDF is so confident that its share has shrunk to 12%. The Despite the dome lift, EDF's half-year results revealed that the program for mechanical, electrical, and heating work there, which is the main thing that they're doing at Hinkley Point, is currently behind plan, notably due to delays in the delivery of materials. And a wide range of improvement initiatives are underway, which one suspects consist of throwing money at things, and the installation rates are expected to pick up by the end of the year. Cheery stuff. Now, as you may know, they're expecting the number of workers, or they're going to lift the number of workers from currently 10,000 to 12,000 to probably 15,000 in the next few years, and to accommodate them locally. And that means on the outskirts of Bridgewater, they've now got plans for a 1,000 bed hostel, temporary units, the same temporary units as they built in Bridgewater and at Hinkley Point, which of course by now should have been removed and shipped across to Sizewell in Suffolk. Something that was never going to happen, but that never stops people saying, oh, this is how it's all going to work out. So that's in the plans. And to help them on their way, Somerset Council have said there's no environmental impact to be had from dumping 1,000 units on land currently not in industrial or semi-industrial use. The Private Eye, I like quoting Private Eye, pointed out that the recent nuclear splurge has led to a plaintive cry from the Office for Nuclear Regulation, which says the risk is increasing of the organisation having the regulator having insufficient capacity and capability to do its vital job. And what followed that immediately is a government report that says that the ONR is not fit for purpose, and blaming things on the ONR, which not only does the ONR refute, it says it doesn't recognise the figures that have been used, some of which appear to be plucked out the air by interested parties at EDF. Um, the, they appear to have chosen Wilfer in Wales for the first of the small modular reactor sites, which is interesting, seeing as no one yet has got a small modular reactor to work anywhere that we recognise as a safe place to have a small modular reactor. Um, and simultaneously, EDF has confirmed that the Sizewell B reactor in Suffolk is using uranium sourced from Russia, which is ironic, seeing as we're meant to be hindering Russia in our efforts to support Ukraine uh, in its attempts to protect its sovereignty from Russia. Um, the yeah, the other thing that has to come in the future that will affect all sorts of people in all sorts of ways is the quest for a geological disposal facility for all the nuclear waste ever. Currently, somewhere in Cumbria is, I'm not saying the favourite, but is the one most likely to have this dumped on them. And the point about it is that it will cost billions, and it has, according to the sources, reliable expert sources, have to hold the material for hundreds of thousands of years. Not a cheery prospect, particularly when, in the middle of August, a Telegraph columnist said that a new wave of nuclear cowboys bent on tearing up the safety rules is just riding over the horizon. They got the Silicon Valley ethos, move fast and break things, which is fine if they're 3,000 miles away from Silicon Valley or 6,000 miles, but not good news for us in the UK. The um, Yeah, that's going on nicely. The interesting thing that on the late August, the Financial Times splurged a large article from a source no less than the previous head of Electricité de France, Henri Proliot, which said the design of the UK's latest nuclear power stations, because that's Hinkley C and Sizewell C, is terrifying, phenomenally complex, and almost unbuildable. Now, that's a guy who clearly was at the top of the tree at EDF. It's a shame nobody publicised that. It's been known for years that that was his view, but it's been hushed up as regards getting these things, Hinkley C and now Sizewell C, started, if not finished, of course. Um, Rolls-Royce is the company that's got the small modular reactor gig in the UK, and they're now going to scratch around to find some money. They've got government permission and presumably some government funding, but they're still going to need more, and they're looking to find unsuspecting and greedy public investors to put money into it. That's right. It's an initial public offering that's on the horizon. Um, a summary of what small modular reactors might do for you is one sentence. The proposed small modular reactors cost more per kilowatt hour of electricity, produce more nuclear waste per kilowatt hour, and often need more concentrated fuel directly usable for nuclear weapons. Now, I wonder who might be reading that and be interested in what they might do to subvert what's intended to happen. So that's all the news brings us up to date. Um, Hinkley C is trundling along in the way that, not in the way that EDF intended, because of course we're reaching the point at the end of 2025 when their not most wildly optimistic, but clearly optimistic assertions were it would be ready. And they're now looking at 2030, 2031, and sources on the ground put it at even later than that, possibly 2035. So we'll see what happens and keep you up to date. Thank you for your attention. Bye for now.